Hey Free Fam, I just got home from the grocery store and I'm gonna make some chicken tacos. I'm gonna show you guys my mom's recipe. I am from Arizona, so now that we live in Maryland, I really struggle trying to find some authentic Mexican tacos, and I really feel like these tacos are the closest that I get to that. I'll also be making a fresh salsa that pairs with the tacos. It goes perfectly together. So yeah, that's what today's vlog is gonna be, and then, you know, maybe some family stuff in between. When I cook these, I always use boneless chicken breasts, and usually I use 3 of them. It only came in a pack of 2, so I'm just gonna take the extra one and put it in the freezer. These are the corn tortillas that we like to use for the tacos, and they have the option of yellow corn or white corn, and I always go with the yellow corn, but you can totally do flour, you can do white corn, you have a whole bunch of different options. You can't forget the sharp cheddar cheese, and I like to buy it in the block to shred it, and it just always tastes better when it's fresh. First, you're gonna put the chicken in the crock pot. You're just gonna lay them right next to each other. You don't really want them overlapping. You're gonna take a whole onion, you're gonna cut it into 4ths, and you're just gonna place it into the crock pot. Now you're gonna sprinkle some salt and pepper on the top, just a thin layer. Next, you're gonna take the garlic head, peel the shell off, and kind of smash it with a knife, and then place it in the crock pot. You do want to make sure that you use the entire garlic head. After that, just pour water to where it barely covers the chicken, and that is it. We're gonna put the lid on it. 6 hours on low. We'll check back in 6 hours. I'm gonna go take a nap soon after I finish this coffee, which doesn't really make sense, but. All right, it is now so much later in the afternoon. As you guys can see, we have 2 hours and 25 minutes still left on our crock pot. I'm going to go ahead and start the salsa that pairs well with this. I like the salsa to be really cold when I make the tacos, just because the hot-cold combination is like my favorite. So that's why I like to make the salsa ahead of time so I can refrigerate it and it has time to get cold. I always like to forget something from the store. So this time I forgot a jalapeno for this. Sometimes I also will use a habanero because I like it a little on the spicier side. For now, I'm gonna chop up everything I have and then I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Let's check in on the kids real quick. We all just woke up from a nap. What you doing? You gonna share? Oh, you're gonna share? Thank you. We didn't want to share your chocolate last night. Okay, so let's get to business and start the salsa. I have 4 tomatoes, 2 limes, an avocado, a whole white onion, and I'm just missing my jalapeno and my habanero, or my habanero. The most important thing when you're chopping the tomatoes, well, really all of the tomatoes and the onion, you want to make sure that you're chopping it very finely, because if you have big chunks, it's not very pleasant to chew on a taco. I also forgot to take the cilantro out of the fridge. I'll put everything down in the description box for you guys and how much I'm using. Sometimes I choose to scoop these seeds out, which is completely optional. It kind of just depends on what tomatoes you get. If you get the smaller Roma tomatoes, you don't really have to do that. But I've learned that if you don't scoop these seeds out, then sometimes the salsa tends to be a little on the mushy side. It's kind of your choice if you want to do it or not, but I recommend it if you don't like your salsa to be on the mushy side. I kind of just eyeball it as far as how much onion I like in the salsa. It's kind of optional as well. Some people like more onions, some people like less. So definitely just add as much as you want to. I think I usually end up adding like a half an onion, but let's see where this gets us and then we'll go from there. I like it chopped very finely, especially when it comes to the onions. No one wants to bite into a big chunk of raw onion. It's just gross. Okay, so I'm just gonna add that to the tomatoes in the bowl. When it comes to the avocado, I've learned that sometimes it's better to get one that's a little more on the hard side, just because, like I mentioned before, you don't want your salsa to be too mushy. At least I don't. Even if it's a little overripe, then that's okay. As it sits in the dish, it'll start to become softer and more ripe. When it comes to the cilantro, usually I end up putting most of it into the dish. So you just want to roughly chop the cilantro. If you're one of those weirdos that thinks cilantro tastes like soap, then don't add it. I learned that if you think cilantro tastes like soap, it's in your genetics. This is the garlic salt that I use, but you can really use any brand of garlic salt. You're just gonna add it to taste, so just sprinkle some on there and go ahead and give it a mix, and then repeat that until it's as salty as you want it to be. We're gonna add a lime in there. I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge so it can get cold. And we still have about 2 more hours on our crock pot, and we will check back in then. All right, we have 7 minutes left on the crock pot right now. It smells so good. What I'm gonna do, I have this bowl right here. I'm gonna take out all the onion and all the garlic pieces. You wanna be very careful when you're taking it out because it's very soft and you don't want garlic chunks in your chicken. Once you pull out all of the onion and the garlic, you wanna take 2 forks like this and you wanna shred the chicken. You don't wanna drain the juice that's inside. You want to leave that in there. That's what's gonna give the chicken its juiciness for the tacos. So definitely leave the broth in there. You do wanna make sure it's all completely shredded, just because you don't want chunks of chicken in the taco, because they are shredded chicken tacos. The chicken looks so juicy, look at this. We are having Kelly and Michael over for dinner tonight. You guys may have seen them in our previous vlogs. So until they get here, I'm just gonna turn the crock pot off and unplug it, just because the chicken is pretty hot and I don't want it to keep cooking, or else it's gonna become tough and you're gonna lose the moisture in the chicken. So we'll leave it off for now. They should be here in about 45 minutes. Probably about 10 minutes before they arrive, I'll turn the crock pot back on and I'll just put it on warm, and that should be warm enough for us. We are gonna deep fry the taco shell, so that does give the taco heat as well. If the chicken is not hot enough, we'll be fine. I just added 1 habanero, and it's like the perfect spice for me. I like things pretty spicy, so if you don't like things spicy, I would suggest taking the seeds out and maybe using like half a habanero. I'm gonna go change because that just worked up a sweat shredding the chicken, and I think that we are ready to have them over. The most important thing when you're making these tacos is you want to deep fry the corn tortilla yourself. You don't want to buy store-bought hard shell tacos. It's not going to be the same. You just put vegetable oil in a small pan like this.
It's basically just flip it in half, right? Make that taco shape. And cook it like that.
So you're going to put it on a plate like this, and then you can add your cheese. I like to add it in the bottom because I feel like it melts better that way. You just top it with your chicken, followed by the salsa. All right, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, don't buy store-bought shell tacos. Do it yourself. It makes a huge difference. You want to say anything, Josh?
These tacos are good. Eat them.
They are. They're really good. I was telling them earlier that we have not found like authentic tacos in this area. So this is like the closest thing to that.